Shocking royal drama, Princess of Asturias Award Ceremony 2025 goes global. People expected tradition, they expected elegance, they expected another quiet night in Oviedo. But then, something happened that no one saw coming. And just when the world thought it understood the Spanish royal family, a single moment shattered expectations and transformed a local ceremony into global royal history. The Princess of Asturias Awards have always been predictable in the most comforting way: polished ceremonies, dignified speeches, moving moments of culture and excellence. For decades, Spain saw them as a celebration of identity, heritage, and continuity. And in 2025, the world assumed it would be no different. At least, until it was. Because on this night, the transformation of a future queen collided with the expectations of a monarchy, and the private tensions of a family under global scrutiny. Princess Leonor had only recently stepped into adulthood, yet her presence already eclipsed the entire Spanish establishment. Every movement was watched, every smile analyzed, every silence interpreted. But as she stepped onto the blue carpet that evening, something felt different. The cameras sensed it before the people did. A shift, a charge in the air, a quiet, unspoken storm building behind the elegance. Because for the first time, this ceremony wasn't just about the awards. It was about Leonor herself, her future, her choices, her relationships, and the growing, quiet tensions within the Spanish royal family. And by the end of the night, a single moment would ignite a global conversation. But to understand why, we must begin with what happened before the world even knew there was drama unfolding. And yes, it begins with a name, a presence, a face the cameras were not expecting to capture, a surprise guest whose arrival instantly deepened the tension behind Leonor's poised smile. The hall was bright, the blue carpet shimmered, Spain's cultural icons lined the entrance in a carefully choreographed order, until a murmur rolled through the crowd. It wasn't loud. It wasn't chaotic. It was more like a pulse. A shockwave of recognition. A young man stepped onto the carpet. Not a royal, not a dignitary, but someone intimately known to Leonor, and quietly whispered about for months. He wasn't supposed to be there. And yet, he walked with calm confidence, escorted discreetly by palace staff. The cameras froze, journalists blinked, and Queen Letizia exchanged a look, brief, subtle, but unmistakably charged, with King Felipe. Why was he here? Why now? And under whose authority? That single question went global in minutes. Because every answer pointed toward a narrative Spain had not yet accepted. That Princess Leonor was no longer just the heir. She was her own woman. And not everyone in the royal family was ready for the consequences. But who invited him? Why was the royal household silent about it? And what did this mean for the future queen? The curiosity loop deepened when Princess Leonor's expression shifted for a single heartbeat. A flicker of emotion that no camera could fully interpret. Queen Letizia, always poised, maintained her public grace. But for those who understood royal body language, something was off. The queen clenched her jaw. King Felipe subtly stepped forward, slightly blocking the line of sight between the young man and their daughter. It was instinctual, protective, royal. That brief exchange became the freeze frame seen by millions online. And everyone began asking, was the Spanish royal family divided on Leonor's personal life? But the ceremony had to continue. The orchestra waited. The audience sat in perfect, tense silence. The future queen stepped toward the stage. And then the second shockwave hit. Traditionally, Leonor's speeches are crafted by palace advisors, polished to royal perfection, and approved line by line. But this night, she deviated. Her voice was steady, calm, confident. But her words, they were unexpected. She spoke of responsibility, yes. Of duty, yes. But then she shifted into something raw, honest, human. She spoke of identity. She spoke of freedom. She spoke of the weight of expectation. And her final line before the applause was what transformed this into global news. A leader must serve her people. Not a script. The hall gasped. The cameras zoomed. Queen Letizia inhaled sharply, barely noticeable, but caught by those who study her every gesture. And the young man in the audience? He did not look surprised. He looked proud. Why? How long had Leonor been preparing to assert her independence this publicly? Did her speech signal a shift in the monarchy's internal dynamics? Another curiosity loop opened when King Felipe applauded a second too late. He was proud, but caught off guard. This moment, this unscripted declaration, sparked a global conversation about a future queen who refused to be contained. But the night wasn't over. The real shock was still to come. As applause echoed through the hall, a sudden movement near the press section caused heads to turn. A reporter, credentialed but unknown to the palace, stood abruptly and shouted a question. "Princess Leonor, is it true you're preparing to announce your relationship?" Security reacted instantly. The hall froze. You could feel the tension like a physical weight. Leonor didn't flinch. She didn't panic. She did the unthinkable. She smiled. A small, knowing smile. And then she gave the answer that detonated across global media. "Tonight, I speak only as Princess of Asturias. But soon, I will speak as Leonor." The silence that followed was unlike anything the ceremony had ever seen. It was history being written in real time. And the world knew it. When the royal family exited the hall, cameras captured subtle but telling interactions. Queen Letizia, visibly tense, walking quickly. King Felipe, serious, contemplative. Princess Sofia, whispering something comforting to her sister. And Leonor, walking with composure, but her eyes scanning the crowd. Until they found the young man. For a brief second, they exchanged a look filled with unspoken meaning. Security intervened before he could approach. Which raises the next question. Did the palace know this moment would happen? Or was Leonor acting independently? Insiders hinted at private disagreements. Whispers spoke of late-night meetings at Zarzuela Palace. Advisors debated how much autonomy the future queen should have. But nothing compared to the next reveal. Because the young man, the one whose presence shook the ceremony, was not just any figure in Leonor's life. Hours later, his identity began circulating across Europe. And when the public discovered who he was, the global reaction exploded. Spain was already on fire with speculation. But when Denmark, the UK, and the US media picked up the story, it became a global royal phenomenon. Because Leonor's rise represents a generational shift in monarchy itself. She is young, educated, bilingual, disciplined, yet unmistakably modern. Her speech, her independence, and the mysterious guest raised questions countries worldwide found irresistible. Was Leonor stepping into a new era of monarchy? Would her future partner reshape Spain's royal image? Was Queen Letizia losing influence? Or was she quietly orchestrating a transition? Every clip of the ceremony went viral. The speech, the look exchanged, the Queen's reaction, the King's hesitation, the guest's arrival. Everything became a puzzle the world tried to decode. But the story didn't end there, because the next morning, the royal household released a statement. And what it said shocked everyone even more. Issued at dawn, the statement read, "Her Royal Highness Princess Leonor of Asturias is preparing for greater public responsibility. Her personal decisions will reflect her commitment to the crown and to the people of Spain." No denial, no clarification, not even a correction about the guest. Instead, the palace confirmed what many had suspected. Leonor was taking control of her future. With or without royal approval. This was not rebellion, it was evolution. A monarchy adjusting to a new age. A future queen stepping into her power. A young woman refusing to be defined by protocol alone. And that is why the Princess of Asturias Awards 2025 became global royal history. The world now watches with breathless curiosity. Will Leonor reveal her relationship publicly? Will the royal family embrace her modern path? Will Spain support a future queen who refuses to be silent? And will this moment mark the true start of Leonor's reign in spirit, if not yet in title? One thing is certain. On this night, the world didn't just see a royal ceremony. It didn't just witness an award presentation. It witnessed the awakening of a monarch. One who will redefine the Spanish crown for a generation. A queen in the making. A woman stepping into her destiny. A future that now belongs not to tradition, but to Leonor herself.